Hey everyone, welcome back to Launch Codes Football. My name is Chris,
And I'm Chelsea.
and we're back with episode number 48, almost up to 50. Just a few episodes off, we'll hit it this NFL season. It's kind of crazy. Feels like we started not too long ago, but it really has been a really great time. And so much of a great time, in fact, that after last episode, after Chelsea's very hot take that she had. Got a little bit of flack from some Steelers fans. You mind explaining what to the audience what happened last episode?
I did, yeah. Shout out to my friend Daniel and his brother. They are Steelers and Giants fans, respectively. They announced they were launching an airstrike on my house last week after the episode dropped, which, was probably an appropriate response from Steelers and Giants fans. Luckily, I'm still standing, so I guess it got postponed.
Well, what did you say specifically
I
that
mean,
really tipped them off?
I may or may not have said that Big Ben and Eli Manning don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's gonna get you some flack online. Well, mainly the Big Ben thing, not necessarily the Eli Manning
Oh,
thing. I don't
oh,
know.
okay. So Daniel's brother, he's gonna airstrike your house now.
I'm
Cool.
just saying, like the
Mm.
majority of people know the truth. But as
And to
far as
think
Big Ben,
last week you thought that my takes were crazy, and now you agree with them. Wow.
okay. Anyways, that was last time. We're moving on from this. Today
Apparently
we've
not.
got okay. Um Today we've got the first week of the NFL season is starting tomorrow at the time of this recording, which is on Wednesday of September 7th. So tomorrow's game, we've got the Rams and the Bills playing each other. Honestly, I think that's a hype matchup to start the season. I mean, two potential Super Bowl contenders, one who won the Super Bowl last year, one who complained about overtime rules last year. I mean, it's going to be great. And so I think both of these teams will be really fun to watch. So we're going to kind of dive into who we think is going to take that game. And then we're just going to go through our regular game picks that we used to do. And that'll pretty much wrap up today's episode. So, Chelsea, with the Rams and Bills playing each other, one being the game is in Los Angeles, SoFi Stadium, the fanciest arena in the world. Where the Rams
Dallas
will have
fans would beg to differ. Dallas
yikes,
Cowboys, they'd beg to differ.
true, but with the Rams playing at home in their brand new stadium, can the Bills beat the defending Super Bowl champs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tall order for the Bills, especially week one, where, this is your first game really playing an opponent like they're meant to be played. Like joint practices are good, and most teams get more out of joint practices for their starters than they do out of preseason, anyways, just because, a lot of the rookies and the second and third and fourth stringers, get the snaps in the preseason. But no, it's a tall order for both teams, to be completely honest, to play each other first week of the season. They both probably didn't scheme that much during the preseason. So, they have to come up with their actual game plans. They have to, figure out what they want to do. It's going to be a really good game. I mean, I really don't think that the league could have scheduled a better first game to kick off the season than this. Like this is like week 14, week 15 prime time like playoff implications game. That's week 1. So that's always very exciting when that happens. And then, you throw the storyline in there about Von Miller, and that just makes it all so much better. So it's going to be a good game for sure. I mean, Josh Allen is looking really, really good per usual. Matt Stafford, allegedly his elbow is fine now, according to reports. It'll definitely be something to watch over the course of the season, especially for the Rams, them being Super Bowl contenders, winning last year, trying to, defend the title. So it'll be a big storyline to watch, but I fully anticipate this being, I mean, I could see it being one of the most entertaining games of the season, to be completely honest. I mean, it has that kind of implication. It's going to be a great game. You can't miss it.
Yeah, I definitely think the story with Von Miller is going to be interesting. I mean, the fact that he just got through playing with the Rams and is now on the Bills, just signed with them over the offseason for a huge contract. I mean, the Bills are doing a little bit similar to what the Rams did, and they're trying to go all in to win right now. And I think that's the move right now. I think they are in the position where they can do it. And I think that Super Bowl windows don't last long. So you got to take advantage of it while you can. I think it's going to be really interesting. I mean, you've got obviously on defense, I mean, you've got some stars for the Rams. You've got Aaron Donald, you've got Bobby Wagner, you've got Jalen Ramsey. You have overall still that core group of guys that's just going to cause havoc for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a great quarterback. He probably is top 5 in the league right now. But is he going to be able to last against people like Wagner and Aaron Donald? I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. And I think the Bills, I was watching some analysis by the NFL Network and just talking about this game a little bit beforehand. I think what's going to be really interesting is, the Bills drafted a running back, right? They've gotten Dalvin Cook's brother and all of that. And so I'm very interested to see, are the Bills actually going to have a run game? Because let's face it, they were not good in the run. Josh Allen was their best rushing offensive player. That is not what you want as an NFL offense. You don't want your quarterback, who is also doing all the throwing, to be the one leading the rushing too. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see, do the Bills have a run game now? And if you're going to test it, might as well test it against people like Donald, Bobby Wagner, and all of that. And that front seven is going to be tough for the Rams. I mean, they still ultimately have a very good team put together. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, are the Rams, let's be real. The Rams last year were weird, were they not? Of course, they won the Super Bowl. So don't get me wrong. It's not like they weren't good. I think they were, of course, very good, an elite team at times, but they were also a little bit streaky. If you remember at times last year, they struggled putting things together at times. And we were even talking about it on the podcast. Like, sometimes they looked like the best team in the NFC. Other times they looked kind of mid. So I'll be interested, do the Rams, are they going to be more consistent this year with how good they are? Or are they going to experience those ups and downs like they've been having? So I think this will be a great game for both teams to start off on. And if either team loses this one, you got 16 more games. It's not a huge deal. That's the fun part about this. It's not that this first game doesn't matter, but it is week 1. You're figuring things out. Your new people are figuring things out. Your coaches are. Everybody is. And while these teams are both very good, and I know one game can matter at the end of the series, at the end of the season, I think these are both teams that will be in an okay position to not worry about having to miss the playoffs by the end of the year. I don't think one game will kill. It can for some teams, it can kill their seeding, but especially with the fact that only the number 1 seed gets a bye week now, unless like they're really competing for that 1 seed, then I mean, this first game to either team it just shouldn't be a huge deal. There's 17 games, but I still think it's a great way to open the season. And the fact that it's happening on prime time, Thursday night football, it'll be fun. So I'm excited. But Chelsea, who do you got taking this game though? Who do you think is going to take the dub on this one?
Well, I kind of want to circle back to what you said about the Bills running game. Honestly, I think that's what sunk them last year. I think if they had had a running game in that game against the Chiefs and they could have at least run out a little bit more of the clock, like I think that they arguably could have won the game. If they had a Jonathan Taylor, like okay, that would transform their offense. The Derrick Henry, a Nick Chubb, a Dalvin Cook, etc. So I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying about, are they going to have a running game? It's not that they don't have bad running backs. They don't. I mean, even last year they didn't. They just underperformed. And it's not that they have a bad O-line. They don't. It's just they underperformed. So it'll be interesting to see if they're actually going to perform up to capacity this year. Because if the Bills get a running back and a running game that's not Josh Allen, the league should be scared if they're not already. Like me, a Colts fan, we have a solid team this year, but I'm scared of the Bills. And we beat the Bills last year. Like, well, we crushed the Bills last year, and I'm still afraid of them. So it's definitely going to be an interesting game. And I mean, it's so exciting. You love to see first game of the year, prime time. It's going to draw a big audience. Everyone's been waiting for the league to kick back into season. So, it's going to be a great game. We'll probably be posting some live analysis and stuff on our TikTok during the game. So you guys should definitely check that out if you want live reactions and stuff like that. But as for my game pick for this game, honestly, I think it's a toss-up. I don't think that there's one clear winner either way. Like, I think they're pretty evenly matched, generally speaking. But I'm going to take the Bills. I got a feeling. I think Josh Allen's going to come out angry about last year, and I think the Bills are going to take it in LA. So we'll see. Wouldn't surprise me if they lost, but I think Josh Allen is still steaming about last year. And I think the whole team is too. And I just think they're going to come out with a fire under their butts. So that's who I got. But who do you have, Chris?
I think it is kind of a toss-up. I mean, on one hand, this game is kind of a home game for the Rams. I say kind of, because I said earlier, it's in the Rams' home stadium, but they don't have the most dedicated fan base. They're in LA. So, let's be real. They're still earning it. Winning a Super Bowl helps. It definitely does. But I'm going to be honest. I don't know. Like, do their home fans show up? They show up more than Chargers fans. So
that's true. But that's not saying much. So,
yep. I mean, hey, the Chargers fans were loyal to their team, but their team was not loyal to them. So anyways, that aside, because I could definitely see some Bills fans riding up for this game. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Bills Mafia is passionate.
They're going to bring their fire, their tables, their jumping skills. You better bet.
So I'm actually going to agree with you. I think the Bills are going to take this one. Is Matthew Stafford's injury going to be too much for them? Whereas we've got a fully healthy Josh Allen, while he is going up against a top tier defense, can the Rams offense take on the Bills defense? The Bills defense was very good last year as well. Let's not act like they were a pushover. Everyone only remembers them last year for the 13-second, drive by Mahomes. But let's be real, they were a good defense overall. And at times, Stafford and the Rams offense was a little bit streaky. So I don't know. I think the Bills are going to take this one, though. And it wouldn't surprise us, like we said, either way, if the Rams take this one. I don't think that would surprise anybody, but unless it was a blowout. Now, if either of these teams blow each other out, that's going to be a lot of headlines the next day.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of headlines. Will they matter in the end? Maybe not. Probably not. But yeah, just to be real, that's going to happen.
And the thing that complicates it the most for the Bills, in my opinion, is Aaron Donald, right? I mean, he's arguably the best defensive player in the league. Some people argue that he's the best player in the league. Not saying I'm arguing that. I'm just saying he is, top tier, cream of the crop, best, arguably defensive tackle ever. I mean, the dude is going to be in the Hall of Fame for sure. But, you have to double team Aaron Donald, right? Because he's Aaron Donald. You can't put him on single blocks. It just won't work. He'll run over people. But that's the problem, right? Because now they have Von Miller. So if you double Aaron Donald, Von Miller is just going to come right around the edge. So it's like, what are you supposed to do with that? Chop block him using a tight
Bobby
end?
Wagner. Von Miller's on the Bills.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner. Sorry.
No, you got. I just wanted to make sure.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, if you're double teaming Aaron and you got Bobby Wagner coming off the edge, like, what are you supposed to do? Chip him? Like, that probably won't work. I mean, he's been one of the best linebackers in the league for a decade. I mean, he's, in my opinion, kind of starting to, decline a little bit just because he's on the older end. But to say that he's bad now is not accurate. Like, he's still better than most linebackers in the league, even at his age. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Bills kind of go about figuring that out. That's going to be interesting. So if they can stop both of them, good for them. But will they be able to stop both of them the whole game? Absolutely not. I mean, it's just, there's no way.
Well, there you have it. There's our picks and there's our reasons why. So let's go ahead and go to some of our game picks themselves for the rest of week one. All right. So we definitely got, Bills at Rams. We both got the Bills here. So at least for the season, at least on Thursday, we will be tied as Chelsea beat me very close last year in our game picks. And it's kind of upsetting, but it is what it is.
Hey, it is what it is, buddy. You can get me back in fantasy this year.
True. All right. Saints at Falcons. I think the Saints will win. I mean, this is a new Saints team completely, but the Falcons, they on paper do not seem very good at all. Which, to be honest, even last year, they weren't even very good on paper. So are they really worse? Who knows if they'll actually be worse? But I think this is a big rebuild year for the Falcons. So I'm going to go with the Saints on this. Chelsea, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Saints too. I think the Falcons are a bottom 5 team in the league. Though I
Yikes.
will say, I want to see Desmond Ridder start some games this year. Because I know Mariota is like starting out, and I don't think that he's bad by any stretch. Like, I think he did a decent job of kind of redeeming his career with the Raiders. I don't think that it'll last, to be quite honest. Um, but I want to see Desmond Ridder start some games for the Falcons. I think the dude has potential. I mean, you want to know what you have before the draft, right? I mean, if they're one of the worst teams in the league and they have a top pick and you have, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud and, a bunch of other quarterbacks sitting right there, like, you want to know what you have in Desmond Ridder this year. You want to know if he can carry your team. And if he can't, you know what you have to do. But if he can, like, how much better, right? Because you can just take someone else. So I know it won't happen in this game, and I don't expect them to win this game. But hopefully by midseason, we'll be seeing some starts from Desmond Ridder. I'm excited. He looked not that bad in preseason, so hopefully we'll get to see some game action out of him as the year continues.
All right, there you have it. And then Steelers at Bengals. Now I see for me, I'm going to take the Bengals. The Bengals are going to be a real interesting team this year, though, because a lot of teams, when they lose a Super Bowl, suffer from that Super Bowl hangover. And it's not uncommon. Even, it's like Super Bowl hangover. They didn't even win it, but it still happens. So I think that I think the Bengals will win this game. I think that the Steelers, honestly, I think right now potentially Kenny Pickett might be better than Mitchell Trubisky, but they're just not going to start him day one. That's just not how NFL teams do it. It is what it is. And I think Trubisky has struggled a lot in the past. I don't know if he'll be as bad as he was on the Bears, or I mean, at times he was pretty decent on the Bears. He even led them to a playoff game that they should have won, to be honest. But I think in this game, I'm going to go with the Bengals. They've made significant upgrades. They've kept their core together. They've upgraded their offensive line, which they've like desperately needed. And so I think that's really going to help carry them. I think on paper, they should be better. They should be a better team. Will they end up doing what they did last year and making the Super Bowl, winning it all? Be a cool story, but it's not common. But I do think they are going to take this game over the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a 2-team race for the AFC North. I think that it's between the Ravens and the Bengals. I don't think that the Steelers will be as bad as people think they will be, but I don't think they're better than the Ravens or the Bengals, and the Browns are the Browns. So I don't foresee them doing anything of significance. For this particular game, I mean, it's in Cincinnati, first game of the year. You know that the Bengals are going to be angry also. So I'm going to go with the Bengals too. I think that Kenny Pickett will eventually win the starting job. At quarterback in Pittsburgh, again, probably by midseason, if I had to guess. We'll probably see, I'd guess, at least 8 games out of Kenny Pickett this year starting. I don't think that they're good enough to beat the Bengals. I think that, you know, I think their running back is pretty good. Najee Harris is legit. But he can't run the ball 40 times a game and last 10 years in the league. It's just, it's just not how the league works. So I got the Bengals as well. I think the Bengals are going to be angry. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Chris. The AFC is so competitive this year. Literally, it's top heavy. The NFC has like 3 teams, and the AFC has like 12. So it's very, very top heavy in the AFC this year, especially in the AFC West, which is going to be must watch football every single week for every single team. I do not foresee the Bengals making it back to the Super Bowl again this year. Now, Bengals fans, you can come back to this episode when the playoffs are going on. And if the Bengals make the Super Bowl, keep these reader seats and you can bring them back out in January and February and, just let me hear it. But I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't think that they'll make it again this year. I think they'll make the playoffs, obviously. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they won a couple of games, but I don't foresee them getting back to the Super Bowl this year. So I'm in the same boat. We've picked the same teams so far, Chris. So we're not looking too good for someone to be a winner this week, huh?
True. I mean, hey, we'll split eventually, but we're giving our honest thoughts here. Look.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, sometimes I'm tempted to pick the other side if it's a coin flip.
Oh, I know.
But, it happens. But yes, Bengals fans, please come back to this video. Come back to this podcast. See, the good thing about this, Chelsea, here's the thing. It's called scamming people. You make them upset, and then, once they come back, you double your views, you double your streams because they've come back to,
oh my gosh,
flame you. So honestly,
well, I've already been
what we're
flamed
doing
in the last month. So,
exactly
it is what it is.
All we're really doing is just getting more streams. So yes, Bengals fans, come back.
It's my plan all along. No, just kidding.
But yeah. All right. So after that, we've got the 49ers at the Bears. I don't think the Bears are going to be very good. I mean, I hope Justin Fields can do well, but 49ers, I think. Although I do think this one will be close, though. I'm very interested to see how Trey Lance is going to do. The fact that they kept Garoppolo.
You mean Jimmy Garoppolo?
The fact that they kept Garoppolo is really, really interesting. I just don't think they were able to get. I don't think they were able to trade him. I think that was the case. So I think Trey Lance is kind of going to have like quote unquote control, but I don't think he'll really have the reins. I think if he's really bad, or I think if he just struggles through 3 or 4 games, I don't think they'll stick with him. I think they'll bench him for Garoppolo eventually. Like if they're middle of the season, like week 8, 4-4, and Trey Lance is just looking mid, I could easily see them being, panicking and going back to Garoppolo. Will they do it? Who knows? But I could see it. So I think the 49ers will take this game, though. They still got Debo, and Debo, I need you to carry my fantasy team, please. Yeah, Chelsea, what do you think with this one?
Yeah, I have the 49ers as well. I am in the same boat as you. I hope for Justin Fields' health that he gets some blocking because that dude got slaughtered last year. It was terrible. And honestly, his line really does not look that much better this year, which is quite disappointing if you're Justin Fields. So I'm going to need Darnell Mooney and David Montgomery to pop off this year because I have them on both of my fantasy teams, one on one and one on the other. So if they could do something good, that would be awesome. Also, I have Kittle, who apparently his week 1 status is in the air already because, of course. So that's just great for me. Yeah, I have the 49ers. I see about Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that just hurts your team keeping him. I think it hurts Trey Lance's morale. I think it makes the offense ask questions you don't want them asking. I mean, they're trying to build their offense around Trey Lance. And if Trey Lance sucks it up, I don't think he will, but if he sucks it up and they put Jimmy G in there, the offense isn't built for him. So it's like, who's to say it'll be any better with Jimmy G if they put him in? It's interesting. I hope that they do not give up on Trey Lance. I mean, you used a top first round pick to take the dude. Like, he's not going to grow if you don't ride it out with him. Like, he has to go through the hard moments in order to learn how to be elite. That's just part of it. Everyone has to do it. It's part of the growth process. You can't just bench someone if they have one bad game. They're never going to get better if you do that. So if Jimmy G sits on the bench all year, mentors Trey Lance, gives him advice, helps him out, great, good, whatever, awesome. I hope that's what happens. But if they start benching him for Jimmy G and then they put him back in and then they pull Jimmy out, it's going to be a giant mess. So for 49ers fans' sake, I hope they don't do that to you because that would be terrible.
All right. So the next game we got here, Browns at Panthers. Definitely one of the bigger stories of the week here. I think the Panthers can take this one. I know that the Browns have a lot of good pieces on them, but I think Baker Mayfield is better than Jacoby Brissett. And I think that Baker Mayfield does overall have better offensive weapons than Jacoby Brissett will have.
I was going to say outside of Nick Chubb, and then I remember that McCaffrey was back from injury, and I was like, oh,
yep. Hey,
never
man,
mind.
McCaffrey will be good for about 3 games. I'm kidding.
Oh, no, don't
man.
say that.
No, we don't want that. But he is always there week 1. So, we know we will have Christian McCaffrey. I think the Panthers take this one, though. And although I'm not going to be surprised if the Browns do get it, I think Myles Garrett is going to I think he's going to be really tough for the Panthers offensive line. Now, the Panthers have tried to really upgrade their offensive line this offseason, which they have desperately needed to. They were nearly bottom of the barrel on the offensive line. I think the only ones like right below them might have been the Bengals, or they were very close. Either way, I think Baker's revenge game is going to be fun to watch. I think he's going to play well. I think he's ready. Like, I don't know about you, but, I feel like the old Baker Mayfield at times was a little bit immature, said a lot of things maybe he shouldn't, or was just a little bit of a drama queen. This time there's literally been no drama. He is like, he's said you're casual. Like, yeah, he's going to like beat their team and like that it is like a little bit meaningful to him. But overall, like, there's really been no drama as far as what he's been saying. So
didn't that headline drop about how he said he was going to F up the Browns? And then he was like,
really...
was like, I didn't say that. And all the NFL was like, okay, dude.
But even if he did say that, that's not really drama. You don't think like players say that to each other like all the time? You think
that's
like
fair.
I don't know. To me, that's not drama. That's just
it just has more meaning because Baker said it. That's all.
Yes, that's true. Anyways, that's my pick. What do you think, Chelsea?
Yeah, so again, I'm also going to choose the same team as you because we're just on the same page this week, apparently.
We really are.
I'm going to pick the Panthers. Mostly because Baker Mayfield is going to be angry. See, I'm picking everyone because they're going to be angry. But seriously,
True.
Am I wrong? Like, I think that it's a legitimate reason for the picks that I've made and that you've made. Yeah, I think Baker is angry. And honestly, I'm of the opinion that he should be. I posted a TikTok when all the Baker stuff was going down. Like, they did him dirty. Like, they were like, we want you. We don't want you. We want you. Now we'll trade you. Oh, wait, never mind. It's like, love me or love me not. Like, just pick, dude. Stop being so dramatic. I have the Panthers because I think that Baker Mayfield wants nothing more in the whole world than to beat the Browns. And he'll have Christian McCaffrey for at least one game. So I think that equates to a win. I will say, though, the Myles Garrett versus Taylor Moton matchup is going to be really interesting. I think Moton is pretty good. I don't know if he's, single pass coverage Myles Garrett good. But I mean, he's legit. Taylor Moton is good. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what kind of course that takes. But yeah, I have the Panthers. I mean, it's at home. It's Baker Mayfield. It's week 1. I watched a video on YouTube. It was like, okay, here's what happens with the Panthers Browns game. If the Panthers win, they beat the Browns and Baker is happy, right? If the Panthers lose, Matt Rule gets fired. Like, it's a win-win. And
I think I saw that and I'm like, yes, that's a
I was like,
hilarious video.
that's not entirely inaccurate. So, okay. But yeah, I have the Panthers because I just think that's an easy pick, especially with no Deshaun. Yeah, that's who I got.
All right, there you go. And now we've got the Eagles at Lions. And Chelsea, for the first time today, we are going to differ.
Gasp.
So.
Only took what, 6 games?
It took a few. I am going to go with the Lions. And the reason being, look, okay. Lions fans have not had like anything to be excited for in the longest time. Do they really have something to be that excited for this year? Actually, maybe. I mean, honestly, their team, as like bad as their record was, they were so close to winning so many games. It wasn't even funny. Like one of them was against the Bears, a dropped touchdown, literally just dropped it. All you need is a guy to catch it. Another one being a world record, NFL all-time record field goal to win the game. I mean, like,
it's just rude, man.
And honestly, what I mean by this is like not the Browns, the Lions. They might have something in Dan Campbell. And look,
I think they do. That dude's legit.
And they've got Aiden Hutchinson, who so far has looked really good. And so, honestly, I think the Lions fans are going to come into this building excited. And believe me, if they come out and win, they will blow the roof off the place.
Did you know that this game sold out? I read a headline today that this Eagles-Lions game sold out. They are only selling standing room only tickets at this point.
It's kidding.
Been like the first sold out Lions game, and I couldn't tell you how long.
That's
how
insane.
Exciting for the league. How exciting that people want to go to a Lions game. That just brings me great joy, just as an NFL fan.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, unless you're an Eagles fan, which to be honest, a lot of people hate the Eagles. I'm not one of them, but let's be real. It is what it is. Like the Lions, like have something to be excited for. America should be cheering for the Lions.
And I not the
that's
Cowboys.
Very cheesy to say. Yes, I know that's
cheer
cheesy to say.
Cheer for the Lions this 1 week, America. Come on now.
But I'm not joking. I think the Lions fans are going to come out ready. I think the team is excited to get this week 1 game going. And for the Eagles, I think really it's going, I mean, just like you said with the ticket sales, this is going to be a tough environment to play in. There'll be a few Eagles fans, they're everywhere. But for real, this is going to be tough. Now for the Eagles, though, I think really they need to be good this year. Like they don't really have an excuse to not be good. And I think this game, while it's weird to say, I think this will be a test for them. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be a very hostile environment. And I don't know. I think this will be a challenge. That's my opinion on it. So I'm going to go with the Lions. Let's go, Detroit. Chelsea, what do you got?
Man, your enthusiasm makes me want to pick the Lions.
I mean, come on.
I mean, you gotta love it. But seriously, no, I agree with you. I think that Dan Campbell is legit. Like, I think he's going to be a really good coach. And I think that they are well on the way to turning this team into not the worst team in the league anymore, which is always exciting. I mean, you love to see when the worst teams in sports leagues aren't the worst anymore.
I mean, the Browns, example, but
I'm a Cubs fan. The Cubs literally had not won a World Series in over 100 years. And then they won. And the worst was all of a sudden the best. And it was just like, it's just fun to see in sports when you just see the evolution of teams and rankings and, who's good and who's not, etc. Unfortunately, though, I can't pick the Lions, man. I know.
Boo.
Honestly, I think they have some really good pieces, but if we honestly look at their roster, honestly, they probably have more holes to fill still than solid roster pieces. Not to say they don't have really good players on their team, because they do. I just don't think they have more than they have holes. I'm so sorry, Lions. I actually really like you. I just want to win this competition. Okay, blame Chris for starting this back up. It's his fault. Yes, I'm gonna take the Eagles. I think the Eagles are gonna be legit this year. I think they have a really good shot of winning the NFC East. I think that the Cowboys have a shot of legitimately not being good this year. And like you said, Chris, I mean, the Eagles really don't have any excuses this year. You go out, you get AJ Brown, right? You upgrade your defense, you upgrade your offense. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts. Like, this is his year. If he is good this year, he's the guy. And if he sucks it up, they're done. Like, that's just how it is. And I think that, you could say the same thing about, for example, the Dolphins with Tua. Now, I'm of the opinion that Tua is not nearly as bad as people paint him out to be, but I still think this is a make or break year for him, just in the same way it is for Jalen Hurts. If Hurts comes in and is mediocre, the Eagles fans are not going to let him stay on the field. Like, they will just unhook a light post from the street, carry it into the stadium, and just use it to get him off the field. Like, that's just, they're not going to put up with it. And, there are some Eagles fans that I've read about online that are just fed up. They want to see results, and they want to see results now, and they want to beat the Cowboys, and that's just what it comes down to. But I think they're going to get off to a solid start this year. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, though. I think it's going to be a tough game, like you were saying, in a hostile environment, but the Eagles are too good to lose this game. They should not lose this game. If they do, they have bigger problems.
All right, there you have it. So next we've got Ravens at Jets. I have to go with the Ravens.
Oh, pick the Jets.
Part of me was tempted for the Jets, but no, I'm sorry.
Boo.
It's not like Detroit where there's something to look forward to. I'm sorry. It just it's not
Are
good
you telling
in New
me
York.
Joe Flacco is not elite?
I didn't say nothing. I just said that look. I don't know. The Jets can't really go much further down than they did. So like there could be some better ups for them, but I think the Ravens are going to take this one. I mean, they're a consistent playoff team if anything. So I mean, some would argue a consistent choking playoff team, but that's just some would argue, not me.
No,
but
not you. Never.
I'm not
you.
arguing that.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing against the Ravens. But yeah, I'm gonna take them to win this game. I don't really have much more analysis than that. Sorry. I think they're gonna win. Chelsea, what do you think?
As much as I want, no, just kidding. Yeah. I also have the Ravens because the Jets are the Jets. Zach Wilson is Zach Wilson and has a knee injury and is not playing until at least week 4. I do think the Jets have some solid pieces on their team, though. And I think they have a good head coach. So kind of like the Lions, I think they're on the road out of mediocrity in the next, 3 to 5 years. But I still don't think that year is this year. I think they're still going to be pretty bad. I need Rashad Bateman to pop off for the Ravens because he's on my fantasy team. So, and I also have Lamar, I think. So if we could just, win by like 40 and get me like 40 fantasy points, that would be great.
All right. Next, we've got the Patriots at the Dolphins. I'm going to go fins up. Let's go Dolphins. Dolphins seem to always beat the Patriots as of recently. Bill Belichick can't figure them out, but that was also under Brian Flores. That was not under new coach, which still rip Brian Flores. Don't know why you got fired. But
he literally should not have. That's another story. But yeah. I'm also still salty about that. He did not deserve to get fired.
Yep, took one of the worst teams ever and made them like decent. Anyways, continuing with that. Yeah, I think the Dolphins, while they're still putting together their new team, I mean, they have the flashy pieces, and this is Tua's year. He had just literally got to play well this year to prove that he was worth his pick. And like you said earlier, I don't think he's as bad as some people say. I mean, some people just love to rip on Tua, but I don't know. I think that the Dolphins will take this game, and the Patriots, though, they'll be fine. They'll be fine through the year. They'll make it work.
Or maybe the Patriots will just suck it up this year. Actually, I take that back. I need them to be like 8-9, so they're good enough to not get a top quarterback, but bad enough to not make the playoffs. That's what I need. The last thing I want is CJ Stroud going to the Patriots. Let me just put that out there.
All right. So Chelsea, who do you got then?
The Patriot. No, just kidding. Obviously not. I'm also taking the Dolphins. Fins up. Let's go, boys. Yeah, I think that the Dolphins have a shot this year in this division to be good. To be quite honest, I think the Dolphins are going to have to win this division if they want to get into the playoffs. Just as I was saying earlier, because it is so competitive in the AFC this year. You basically, if you are not a top 2 team in the AFC this year, you have to win your division to get in. That's pretty much how it is. Like, it's literally going to come down to the last game for the AFC, I think, just with everyone and how competitive it is. Like, the whole AFC West cannot make the playoffs. So, like, someone's got to not make it, you know? Like, so we'll see. But no, I think they have pieces. I mean, they have Tyreek. I mean, they have Waddle from Alabama. They have the fastest wide receiver core in the league, right? Picked up some decent running backs. I think they have a good coach. I think it should still be Brian Flores. It's not, and I'm still kind of salty about that. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. They have a decent defense. I mean, they have pieces. They have to show up this year. They at least have to make the playoffs for this to be a successful year. Tua, you know, this has to be his year. If Tua comes out this year, kind of like Jalen Hurts, if he comes out this year, he's mediocre. I quite honestly don't think that they're going to spend any more time waiting on him, because with the players that they signed this offseason, how they drafted and everything, I mean, they want to win soon. And the reality is, you really can't do that in this league without someone who's at least above average. And if Tua isn't that, I don't think they're going to stick with him that much longer. I hope for his sake that they do, and I really don't think he's that bad. So here's to hoping that he works out. You know, you never want to see a guy fail, so hopefully he works out. But yeah, no, I have the Dolphins. So again, Chris, we're just really on the same page this week. We've had one pick that's different from each other.
It just means that we're
You're
just
telling me
both
this
smarter
week's
than all.
gonna come down to the Eagles-Lions game. Is this what you're telling me?
Look,
because I can't.
Look, anyways, it just means that we're better than all the NFL and ESPN analysts and
analysts.
And I think that, you know, hire us. We can do this. Predictions easy. Anyways, next we've got the Colts at Texans. So I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. I think the Texans, I don't think they have a bad quarterback in Davis Mills. Not going to lie. He's actually not bad. And so I don't think it'll just be like a cakewalk for the Colts, but I think they're overall a better team. And the Texans still have just a mess of last year and everything. I think they just need to really separate themselves from that year. Just get this all out, get this year done with, rebuild, and figure it out for next time. So I'm going to go with the Colts on this one.
I'm also going to go with the Colts. I cautiously pick them because, as the whole league knows, the Colts have won game one of the season since like 2012 or 2013. So we should win this game. It should not be difficult. The Texans are bad. They are bad, and we are good. It should be easy. Here's to hoping that it's easy. After how much suffering I went through last year, this better be easy. They did not give Jonathan Taylor a single snap all preseason. He should have like 4 pairs of legs at this point. Just get 200 rushing yards and win. That's all I ask, please. Our first 4 games are the Broncos, which we should beat. The Jaguars, which, Lord have mercy, I hope we beat. The Chiefs, yikes. And the Broncos, also yikes. So I need this season to get off to a good start, okay? Because it's going to get a lot harder. I can't go through what I went through last year again. I just can't.
Yikes. Flashbacks to Jacksonville. Anyways, moving on. Let's go to the Raiders at Chargers. So we're going to differ here, Chelsea. I'm
Yes.
going to go with the Raiders. I think Derek Carr, man, he gets so much hate, and at times he earns it because at times he's not good, but most of the time he's fine. And honestly, there's been Super Bowls where worse quarterbacks have won. So honestly, I think Derek Carr can get this team this W. And I think the Chargers might take a little bit of time to gel. They have a lot of new pieces, a lot of superstars, but I think in the end they'll be okay. But this division's going to be competitive, and I think the Raiders will take this one.
We are shockingly differing this one. I'm going to pick the Chargers. Not because I think the Raiders are a bad team. I think the Raiders are a really good team. And I think in a division like the AFC South, that the Raiders would be a clear favorite to win, right? One of the only reasons that they are not a clear favorite is because they are in the most stacked division in the entire league. I'm going to pick the Chargers because I think that Justin Herbert is better than Derek Carr. And if it comes down to a quarterback duel, I'm going to take Justin Herbert. That's just kind of what it comes down to. Not that I think the defenses are bad by any stretch. Both are extremely, extremely talented. The offenses are so high powered. It's not even funny. So if it comes back down to quarterbacks, I'm going to take Herbert because I wouldn't surprise me if Herbert won the MVP this year. I think the dude's legit. I think he's really good. I think this will be close, though. I don't think that this will be a blowout. I think it'll be back and forth. Someone will commit a turnover, and honestly, that will probably, seal the game for whoever the winner is. But yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. Kind of what I said about the Bills-Rams. Wouldn't surprise me if the Raiders won, just because they've gotten much more talented in the offseason, just like the Chargers did. But at this point in time, I am going to go with the Chargers just because I think that they have the better quarterback.
All right, fair enough. Next, we've got the Packers at Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are bad, to be honest. And honestly, Kirk Cousins, when he's on, he's playing really well. But I still think the Packers still own this division. And as Aaron Rodgers once said to the Bears fans, I still own you. And in a lot of ways, he's kind of owned the Vikings. So, I know Vikings fans hate that, but I think Green Bay, here's the thing, Green Bay in the regular season is really good. Like in the regular season, they're great, but have they underachieved in the postseason? 1,000%. But I think in this game, I think the Pack is going to win it.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Packers as well. Again, not because I think the Vikings are a bad team. The Vikings have a really good offense. They have two really good receivers. They have an above average quarterback, a arguably top 5 running back. I don't think that they're as bad as people paint them out to be. I think that they're the second best team in the division behind the Packers. I don't think you're going to get much competition to take the division from the Lions or the Bears. So I think that the Vikings are second best, but I still don't think that they can overtake Aaron Rodgers even in Minnesota. But I will say, I say that with a note of caution. Devontae Adams is gone. Not injured, not suspended, gone on the Raiders. So, that's going to make a big difference. Currently, the wide receiver 1 for the Packers is Alan Lazard, which does not instill much confidence if you are a Packers fan. So it's going to be very interesting to see how their wide receiver situation develops over the course of the year. But I still think that, they're a better team than the Packers, or than the Vikings. So I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, but these games are always close. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was close. But I still take Aaron Rodgers over the Vikings defense. I mean, he's won the MVP for a reason. I mean, he's the defending MVP title holder for a reason. So I think that he will probably have his way with the Vikings defense. But yeah, not saying this because I think the Vikings are horrible. I don't think that. I just think Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and he's gonna Aaron Rodgers. You can't really do anything to stop it.
Fair enough. Hard to stop him. I feel like we're gonna agree on the next few here. Um, Probably. So got the Giants at Titans. I think the Titans will take this. I still think they're not bad. And honestly, if Malik Willis starts and ends up being like a decent quarterback, like he's looked in the preseason, this could be a real dangerous team for real. I think, and I think that the quarterback position, Tannehill has been really good at times, but other times he has struggled, such as the playoffs last year. And I think if Malik Willis turns out to be, you know, as good as he's looked so far, they could be real dangerous. So, but I'm gonna go with the Titans. I don't think the Giants are gonna be very good.
Excuse me, you don't think that Daniel Jones is in the running for league MVP this season?
I hope he is, just so like sarcasm can just be like, I don't even know.
Oh my gosh, for real though, I do feel bad for Daniel Jones. Like if he is not above average this year, I think he's out, which is really unfortunate. You never want to see that happen to people. I unfortunately think that that will happen in this situation though. Sorry, Daniel. Yeah, I'm also going to take the Titans. Not because I want to, for the record. I don't like the Titans. But I can say with confidence that they are better than the Giants. So I don't really feel like that deserves much analysis.
Fair enough. Next, we've got the Chiefs at Cardinals.
Woo,
I'm going
that's a
to
big
go.
one.
It is a big one. I'm personally going to go with the Chiefs here. I think the Cardinals could be a pretty decent team, if a very good team. Last year I felt like I think it was a disappointing year for Cardinals fans. I mean, you started off hot, like you started off ready to go, and then it just really tailed off towards the end. And you've had some off-season drama. I mean, it's been insane. But if they can kind of just take all of that outside noise and just push it aside, just play good football, I think they'll be a good team. They may not be the best. They may not. They could be. Who knows? Kyler Murray, when he's on, he is like top 5 in the league, you know? But I think that the Chiefs will take this one. Mahomes is built different, man. He's something different. And even though Tyreek's gone, he's still got Kelsey. He's still got other people. He's still got Andy Reid as his coach. He'll figure it out.
To be quite honest, Tyreek Hill being gone may help their offense, right? Because the biggest pieces last year they've always had are Tyreek and Kelsey, right? You double team Kelsey across the middle, you put your fastest guy on Tyreek, and you just pray to God that, you don't get crushed. This year, I read a headline today that Patrick Mahomes was already apologizing to fantasy managers about there not being a true wide receiver one on this team. That does not entirely surprise me. I think the guys they brought in to replace Tyreek are not true wide receiver ones. I think that Scantling and Juju and other people they brought in are more of like the low end wide receiver one to wide receiver two, generally speaking. So it doesn't surprise me that, Mahomes thinks he's going to spread the ball around more. And honestly, that might make them harder to beat if there's not someone that you can double team every single play. Like he's going to spread it around more because he has more reliable pass catchers. That is one of the reasons I'm also going to take the Chiefs, not because the Cardinals are bad, though I will say I think a lot of the Cardinals offense hinges on Marquise Brown working out. If he does not work out for the Cardinals, it's going to be a long season on offense, especially the first 6 games with Hopkins being suspended. Now, when Hopkins gets back, okay, you don't have to rely as much on Brown. That's a good thing. But, until that point comes, it's going to be Marquise Brown. It's going to be the guy. And if you guys know anything about him with the Ravens, it's not that he was bad with the Ravens by any stretch, but he never reached his full potential with the Ravens. I drafted him multiple years in a row, expecting him to be a dominant wide receiver one. And to be quite frank, he never really was, which was kind of disappointing. Like, he was in a position to take that. Like, they really had no one else who could take that. And he just didn't take it. He didn't claim it. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see his development with Kyler. I mean, I know they're friends and they've played together, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it was a good fit for him to go. But I still think the Chiefs are better. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Cardinals, they'll make the playoffs most likely because, again, the NFC has like 4 good teams. So they'll probably make the playoffs. And if they don't, again, they have bigger problems. But for this particular game, I'm going to take the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. And the times that I have picked against Patrick Mahomes, I've usually been wrong. So,
Haven't we all? Anyways, 2 more games here to go. Bucks at Cowboys. I'm going to go with the Bucks on this one. I think Tom Brady, with all the drama, whatever has been going on, who knows what's actually going on? It's just a bunch of reports. No one actually knows. I think that the Bucks will win. I think they'll be fine. Tom Brady has faced a lot of adversity in his life, and honestly, he looked fine last year.
no, I mean, he definitely looked good. I think that this game might be closer than people expect, but I don't think that it is going to be, I don't have the Cowboys winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in the same vein as you, I picked the Bucks because Tom Brady, even though I really thought he retired, man, I got so excited.
Everyone did.
The Colts posted that GIF on Facebook and on Twitter from SpongeBob, and the internet blew up and it went viral, and then he unretired, and now we can't use it again because it just won't be the same.
Nope.
It was just a great opportunity wasted.
Dead meme.
So disappointing.
But yeah, I think the Bucks are going to take this one. Chelsea, I guess we agree on this one.
Which shocks literally no one.
No, I guess not. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game though, similar to last year. Like, we had a really good game opener. I mean, unless you're a Cowboys fan, you're probably mad at the ref ball or whatever, but that's just, as much as we say it's getting worse, and sometimes I wonder if it is, but the other parts I'm just like, you know what? I think this is just the way that it is, no matter what. It sucks at times. But anyways, last game we got here, Monday Night Football. Got a new crew for Monday Night Football. That'll be interesting as well. Broncos country. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
You got to do it. You started it. You have to do it.
Cringe.
Do it.
Moving on.
Just do it.
Russell Wilson playing his old team in a revenge game. That's about the interesting points that this game will go, in my opinion. I don't think the Seahawks are going to be like any good. They could be. They could surprise us. Cheers to them if they do.
Do we think they'll surprise us, though?
No. I'm
no,
sorry.
We do not.
No. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, they picked Geno Smith over Baker Mayfield. They picked Drew Lock over Baker Mayfield. They could have traded for him. And like, traded
them
next
over
to
Jimmy
nothing.
Garoppolo also.
Mm-hmm.
Though the probability of getting traded within the division was probably pretty low, but even still.
It could have happened, maybe. If the 49ers were that desperate to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, it could have happened. But I don't know. The memes are too strong on this one. I think that Russell Wilson and the Broncos country is going to take it.
So, as comes to a surprise to literally no one, I am also going to take Broncos country. Let's ride. Come on. So one
she
of us
did
had
the
to say
cringe.
It.
Get her out. Get her out.
One of us had to say it. It's how it is.
Cringe.
Yeah, there's really not that much intrigue with this game. The Broncos have Russell Wilson and the Seahawks do not. And that's really the biggest headline.
It's at Seattle.
It is. let's hope that Russell Wilson gets a nice round of applause on his way in.
I agree. I think that he will, because it wasn't his choice to leave, probably. I mean, maybe he kind of wanted to, but also, come on. If you are a Seattle fan, there's no way you did not look at that scenario and be like, oh, yeah, he wants out. Like,
also, if you're a Seattle fan, there's no way you don't applaud him after what he did for your franchise.
true.
There's no way.
Got carried like to a Super Bowl and choked in the playoffs
back,
the rest of the time. I'm kidding.
When Peyton came back to Indianapolis, he got applause because he is Indianapolis. Russell Wilson, he is the Seahawks. You better applaud him. If he gets booed, that just makes the fan base look bad. Let's just be honest.
Who would ever boo their star quarterback? What fan base would ever do that? I've never heard of one.
Definitely not the Eagles.
Definitely not the Eagles.
Or the Dolphins?
Yeah, definitely not.
The Cardinals?
I think we're dodging a big one right now.
Say it.
No, we don't need to say it. We already know who it is. Real people, real ones know what's up. If you need help to find out who it is, you can just Google, fans booing their star quarterback. And I bet you I know who will come up.
You're obviously talking about Tom Brady, aren't you?
Yes, definitely.
I know.
And Tom, just a shill. He sold out. He sold out for Tampa, obviously.
Sold out, that traitor.
Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. I'm excited. I hope you guys are. And thank you for listening. Chelsea, do you want to go ahead and just wrap us up here?
Of course. And let me just add that I did not say anything particularly controversial this week. So if people cannot airstrike my house, that would be, no, just kidding. Send me the flames. I will combat them.
Be careful what you ask for.
That's true, but it'll get us views. So, I mean, if that's the goal, that's the goal.
Scams.
Oh my gosh. So thanks for listening, guys. Tune back in next week for more content. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter at LaunchCodesFB and on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at LaunchCodesFootball. Make sure you look us up on TikTok during the game tomorrow night. We will be on there posting live reactions, etc., etc., etc. So make sure you get on there if you kind of want to see what's going on. But I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Chris.
And we will see you next week with so much more content than we had this week. Oh my gosh, so exciting.
Let's go.
See you guys.